Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 43 of the Friday Nightmares podcast. On this episode, we will be tackling the topic demons, just in time for spooky season. Uh, I am one half your hosting team this evening, Mr. Smoke Show Crawford, coming to you from the town of Swartz Creek in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm fully vaxxed, waxed, and ready to be climaxed. And if you can, please get me wet, feed me after midnight, and rub my poor back because this 40-year-old is old.
Yeah, so everyone who's listening, Scott just turned 42 days ago. His birthday was on October 8th. I'm sure Scott will thank everyone for the kind messages, but I thought it was really nice how everyone left some really nice, kind messages, under the post I made, and then a bunch of other posts too, which were very sweet. But in true old person fashion, Scott threw his back out Saturday morning and has been a little rough. I didn't even think we were going to record today, but it's all for Friday Nightmares, right, Scott?
It's all for you.
So poor Scotty is walking wounded. This is exactly why we didn't do Nightmares when you came up here. This is exactly why we didn't do that.
I'm so glad this happened now instead of then.
Like, I couldn't imagine you having to drive home to Michigan because you've done the drive now. It's like what, 4 hours it took you?
Yeah, 4.5 hours.
Right. So you would be sitting in a car for 4 to 4.5 hours.
Yeah, and anyone that has suffered through back pain, sitting in a car is the worst.
Absolute worst. Absolute worst.
Especially if you hit any bumps. Thankfully, in Canada, there doesn't seem to be too many bumps. But when you get to Michigan,
Sorry, I muted myself. We take care of our roads. I muted myself. That was really funny. Yeah, we take care of our roads, but not that much better. Let's be clear here. There's some shitty roads here too, but nothing's like Michigan. Michigan's out of this world how shitty their roads are, honestly.
Yep, because I was going to say, we go for the lowest bidder when it comes to construction workers working on our roads, which is probably not the best idea.
You know what's funny? I think your roads are scarier than some of the horror movies you made me watch for this topic this time around.
I can see that.
I think some Michigan roads are scarier. So yes, we are full into spooky season. Scott and I don't usually call it spooky season, but we know a lot of people do. October is a really fun month. Around here, there's a lot of people that have done their lawns up really, really early. I saw a great Pennywise kind of lawn tribute thing that's been somebody put together, which is really awesome. Last weekend, I went to one of the best haunts I've been to in a long time.
That thing looks awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be like that. And it was really good. It was at Castle Loma, which is located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's a historical site. So it's the closest thing we have in Canada to what we refer to as a castle. It's quite large. It was shaped and built like a castle, many rooms, and a beautiful gardens, which is where this haunted attraction took place. And the animatronics were fucking amazing. I shared some videos of the dog that jumped out of this side thing as you were walking through and went to bite you. There was movie level effects that were had at this haunted attraction.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
When we were in line, there was a gentleman who said that he had been to both Universal Studios in California and in Florida and said that this was better. Now, obviously, I haven't been to either one, so I can't really speak to it.
Wow.
But I would definitely say this is one of the better ones I've been to in, Canada or Ontario, because I've been to all of the major ones except for Screamers. And Screamers is like a traveling haunted house that gets put up, obviously, on October. It skipped last year because of COVID. But they are happening this year. But I did this one instead. So I'll probably next year I'll do Screamers. And that will be the last one I have to do for Ontario.
Nice.
And that honestly, Castle Loma, that and the Haunted Manor to me rank at the top. Maybe if you come out next year, Scotty, what we could do when you come out, instead of going to the bar, well, we could always go to the bar after we do these things too, is we could do Castle Loma one night and do the Haunted Manor the second night that you're here.
That would be cool.
Right. So it's the Haunted Manor is just a little more longer because they have separate mazes, but the effects aren't as good. Like Casa Loma went all out. And then midway through, you get to this horror bar, which is like every vampire bar fantasy come to life. And you go in and there's all the stage smoke and lights, and each table has candles and there's cobwebs and there's a DJ, and it's just like totally fills the ambiance. Like it's crazy. And then you walk under these dark tunnels that actually go under the castle that are rumored to be haunted on a regular day. And they're creepy enough at a regular day going through them. I've gone through them like regular tours, and going under them with stage smoke, so you can't really see where you're going, pyrotechnics, so it blows wind and cold air on your neck, light tricks. Like there was one near maze we went through where hallucinations would come at you.
Oh, wow.
So you would turn the corner and then all of a sudden someone would pop up screaming.
Nice.
Like it was out of this world. Excellent. And yet again, we are still facing COVID-19, right? So here in Ontario, you can't go to a restaurant, a concert venue, a gym. And I think there's something else, unless you're fully vaccinated, movie theaters, because you remove your mask in those settings to do various things.
And probably bars too, I would guess.
Bars, yes, sorry, bars, restaurant bar. So in order to get into the bar, you had to be vaccinated, which honestly kind of controlled them. Like already they had a controlled number of people they sold tickets to. You had to be 19 to go into the bar. The bar was expensive. Like I bought 2 drinks, the beer was $9, and the martini thing I had was $16.
Holy crap.
You know, it's Toronto Pisces and you're paying at an attraction, right? Like, you know, it's once in a lifetime opportunity kind of thing. Well, not once in a lifetime, but it's something special. And so, you know, I was fine with spending the money, but it was cool because it restricted the amount of people in the bar. And also we still have COVID screening. So I guess what I'm trying to get to in this long end up story of COVID restrictions is that people can't grab you. They can't come in your face.
Oh yeah.
Right? Which when I went to Haunted Manor several years ago, I had a girl get right up in my face and tell me she was going to cut my throat. Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's, you know, less extreme now because they can't do that. Right. So, but they made up for it in the pyrotechnics because dummies can get really close to you and electronics can get really close to you because they don't carry any kind of virus. So I thought that was really smart on how they've kind of supplemented, and I really enjoyed that. And then yesterday I went to Boo at the Zoo with my friend's kids and I dressed up as Cat in the Hat. And everyone got who I was, except for my mother, who asked if I was the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, your mom.
Right?
So adorable.
Everyone else got it. Everyone else got that it was Cat in the Hat. Perhaps it was the tag that I used of Cat in the Hat that helped with people getting it on social media anyway. But at the actual park, people got that I was Cat at the Hat. The couple kids stopped and pointed and went, Cat in the Hat, which was
it was a cute outfit.
It was cute. It's my child-friendly outfit. So, you know, I have decorations outside my house too. I have my little doggy. Remember last year I called it my blow-up doll?
Yeah, your blow-up doll.
And you fucking died for like...
Oh, that was amazing.
10 minutes. So it's a doggy that's pumped full of air. Now I'm finding different ways to say it, with a little witch's hat on. And I got 3 little pumpkins. I think Scott, I showed you on Friday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you sent me a video of it.
Yes, I did. I couldn't remember if I did or not. Oh no, we were video chatting.
Yeah, we were
video and I was setting it up. Yeah, that's what was going on. And then I have the ceramic pumpkin that my grandmother made me so many years ago outside as well. So I keep my Halloween costume when I hand out trick-or-treating or when I go to these events, kid-friendly. I'm not a big component for scaring children. I don't think it's the ethical thing to do. Like, I don't care. People can make their like places really scary and scare kids. That's awesome. Like, I'm not criticizing them. I just don't like doing it because I was a really scared child. So, you know, I do like to scare people, mind you. Just not little wee ones. But have you done anything yet special for spooky season, Scott? Besides throw out your back and kind of become a zombie?
Yeah, I was gonna say just kind of walking around moaning like a zombie. But no, pretty much I'll just be doing what I always do probably during this season. Like, unless I find someone to go with, a lot of the Halloween events just don't feel right going by yourself. So yeah,
especially because you're like, hey, have you guys watched Gremlins? Maybe that's why, Scott.
No, anybody I tell that watches Gremlins love it just as much as I do. You're just delusional, Heather.
It's true. People really think I hate Gremlins too. They're like, you really hate Gremlins? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, it's played up for the show, but it's It's an ongoing thing. Well, you had a birthday.
Yes.
Let's talk about your birthday. That's something happy. You started before you threw out your fucking back. But
Right.
let's go pre to that. You got some nice gifts.
Yeah, I ended up getting a 4K Blu-ray of Evil Dead 2 from Mr. Neil Lemoy, aka Nudie. So thank you, buddy. I
Very
appreciate
kind.
that. That was a very nice surprise. And then I also got a package of Gremlins 2 trading cards from my friend Liz. She had already gotten me birthday gifts when she came to visit back in August. So this is just kind of something she wanted me to have to open for my birthday, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, fun little set of playing cards. It was sweet.
Yeah, and I was tempted for the longest time not to open it, but I said screw it.
The longest time, as in 5 hours.
Yes. That was a long time debating it, okay? But then I decided to carefully open the package because thankfully it was like the old school packaging, so it was easy to just kind of open it up and flip it open without ripping it. So I kept the design package, and it came with a piece of gum. So who knows? Maybe if I get feisty, I may eat this old 1988 piece of gum.
Oh man, I can't believe you opened it. No self-control.
No, especially when it comes to Gremlins. I just wanted to see what was in there because I used to have a couple of these cards back in the day. So just kind of like a little trip of nostalgia for me. So I wanted to kind of go through them.
Oh my God, that's one of his cats. Did everyone hear that? That's hilarious. Are they fighting?
Yep. Hey.
Pussy war. Man, there's always pussy fighting over Scott.
So much pussy fighting for Scott. Smoke show is just that.
Okay,
amazing.
He has this like fucking wizard staff he's using right now to walk around with, and I swear he's using it to push around the cats right now. Too.
I am. I'm trying to push them away from each other.
Scott's like, I don't have the energy for this shit, cats.
I can't bend over and get you guys to move away, so damn it, just knock it off. But
poor Scotty.
But yeah, then at work, I got to work that on my birthday, and there was a birthday card sitting on my desk signed by everybody, which had nice. Some funny messages in it, which, yeah, I thought that was really nice. And then at lunch, they ended up, my boss, who I don't think I've ever said it on the show, but he loves to cook for us. So, and on special occasions like people's birthdays or something like that, he goes a little above and beyond. He actually made homemade Reubens, which were freaking incredible. And then they ended up bringing in a birthday cake, and everybody sang to me except for John, who is my boss, who sang to me, literally screaming at the top of his lungs, happy birthday, and almost dying as he does it, which was hilarious. Then after work, I met up with my parents, had dinner at a nice steakhouse, and then came home, had a Skype session with you and Mr. Brandon Orlick, and we watched the amazing VHS 94.
Oh man, what a great movie.
Amazing.
Hands down. I'm super glad I killed a bottle of sangria during that film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then my roommate came home and we played some video games and just had some drinks and got a nice buzz on. And then I wake up the next morning, wash my face, and throw out my back. Yeah.
Happy 40th.
Right? It's like I said, my mind is about 25. My body is like 60.
Oh, mine 25, Scott.
Okay, 15.
Yeah, I was like, come on now. Well, I am sorry you're not feeling good, and I'm sorry that you don't have much planned for spooky season. We did go on that amazing zombie 4D ride.
Oh yeah.
Prior to your birthday. Unfortunately, Scott couldn't come up closer to his birthday because of my dog's ACL surgery. A little bit of fucking razzle dazzle going on in between our time of podcasting. Is his recovery, which has been stressful to say the minimum. But hopefully next year Scott can come up just before Canadian Thanksgiving, and
because Canadian Thanksgiving is what, tomorrow for you, or is it
technically this weekend? It's all weekend,
right?
Like every day is Thanksgiving over Canadian Thanksgiving. So some people celebrate it today, some people celebrate it tomorrow. I've been celebrating it yesterday and today, so the good times just keep fucking flowing here. But yeah, officially Monday is the holiday, so okay. It's also my dad's birthday, so party times all around. Party times all around. Or he can come after Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that is true.
He could come closer to Halloween for all I give a fuck. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'll come all right.
Well, if you come up late enough, we could go to the drag show that I'm going to go to on Devil's Night, because that's where I'm going to be wearing my slutty Halloween costume. Though I don't using the word slutty. We'll say revealing.
Yeah, say more revealing.
More, yes. Oh, well, compared to Cat in the Hat, yes, much more revealing. I got tickets for an event that goes from 10 p.m. till 2 in the morning. So I'm going to
Nice.
be getting pretty sloshed.
And I hope to get a random call from Drunken Heather.
Oh, you may. We'll see how the night goes. I make no promises. Sometimes I'm real sloppy, like last year on Devil's Night, where I
Yeah, that was amazing.
kept repeating myself over and over again because I really didn't know where I was or what I was doing. I just knew I had to not vomit in the cab on the way home.
And I'm glad I kept you company to keep you distracted.
Yeah, I waited till I got home, and then I released the evil that was inside of me. Yeah,
which kind of fits for our topic today. You're released.
Oh shit! You know what's funny? I forgot about the other film I watched that I didn't put under older films. That I should. Speaking about releasing the evil inside of me.
Oh yeah.
Right. Maybe I'll talk about that briefly when we get there. Anyway, we should break into our 2021s. We'll start off with I'll say this briefly because Scotty watched it already. Digging to Death. You were the one that told me about this, Scotty.
Yep.
Great film. Really enjoyed it. I believe it's available on Tubi, I think. Where did you watch it, Scott?
Yeah, I believe it was Amazon Prime for us.
It was Amazon Prime for you guys, so it was probably on Amazon too for me. Yeah, great little low budget film. Really enjoyed the main actor in this. The ending I thought was kind of interesting too. Yeah, I would say if you have Amazon Prime and you haven't checked this film out yet, you're really missing a very good low budget 2021 film. And yes, Mark Nato, I think this is the year of indie horror. And yes, Mark Nato, I also think this is the year of horror comedy. I think there's some great ones that have come out this year. A lot. We've talked about them every week that we record this show. So this is one of them that I feel is right up there. And it is available on the following: iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Microsoft Store, Amazon Prime Video. If for some reason you don't have Amazon Prime Video, I do believe a rental price of $3.99 to $4.99 is worth it for this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that just to see that main actor going through the stages that he goes through in this film, it's incredible.
Awesome. All right, next one is Intrusion. Did you see this one?
I have not.
It's a very much a by the way, everyone, this is very much a Netflix film. Netflix comes out with a couple of different films they make, but their horror films all follow a very similar flavor.
That they do.
Scary. Now, they're English horror films. I'm not talking about films they pick up from other countries. Right. So I'm talking just about their English Netflix production films. This film reminds me very much of Open House. It reminds me, it's a little bit better than that other one I talked about that had what's his face taking his shirt off every 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, what Prey was that? Was that Prey?
No, it wasn't Prey. It was something else. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it had Sean Astin. Not
yeah,
Sean Astin,
Sean Astin Moore, and he took his shirt off every 5 minutes, make out with his wife. Yeah. This movie was fine. You know, it's a very much a thriller that you can predict. Like within probably the first 30 minutes, you're going to be like, I think I know what's happening here. But yet again, if you have someone in your life who's not maybe a huge horror fan, or they like thriller kind of mystery with a little bit of sprinkle of horror for some razzle dazzle, then I would say this is a great film to watch. It's easy to sit through, not overly complicated. It has a 93-minute runtime. So if you have someone in your life who's maybe into more thriller, maybe not all the way horror, you know, they just want the tip of horror, then maybe this is the film you should get. Just a tip. This is the film that you should get them to watch. So Intrusion on Netflix.
Nice.
And the next one, No One Gets Out Alive. Have you seen this one, Scotty?
Not yet.
You know, honestly, Scotty,
there is one movie I forgot to add to the list, so I'll have one that I don't think you've seen yet. I'll bring that up at the end. Because,
you know, Scotty,
I'm trying here.
I feel like you're not trying. You were in bed all day yesterday. You couldn't just cram some 2021 while you were on your back?
I had to cram all my podcast prep in first.
Oh, that's true, right? True. You had to watch all our amazing fucking films that you chose for this bad boy.
Damn right. And then I did start a 2021 last night, the other Netflix one. There's Someone in the House, but I fell asleep halfway through.
Oh,
so I'll have to talk about that on the next episode.
Oh, Scotty too hottie.
I know.
Poor Scotty. All right. So No One Gets Out Alive. This is an international film. It's in Spanish. It's basically a young woman flees from Mexico to America to make a better life for herself. Ends up in a boarding house where nothing is as it seems. There's some pretty good fucking actors in this. You got Mark Macheta, who is awesome. He's been in a lot of shit this year. He was also the main guy in The movie Alone that came out last year with the girl driving.
Oh,
And the
nice.
guy that stalks her,
Yeah.
that's him, right? He was also in #like as the dude.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he's been in a fair amount of films. He's a very good actor. I'm really growing a big appreciation for him. He seems to have a thing with Netflix. Netflix and him seem to be in bed together because he seems to be in a lot of Netflix films. This film is sitting at an 85-minute runtime. Has a pretty high rating from a lot of people that have watched it. I can definitely say I enjoyed it. It was very creepy. There's a great supernatural twist to it. The characters are very affable. It's very much a very entertaining film. And yet again, there are two types of Netflix films when it comes to horror movies: the ones that Netflix creates, which are average at best, and the international ones that they get that tend to be pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And this is an example of a pretty fucking good international film. So if you enjoy Spanish films and you like the whole topic of an immigrant coming to America and things not being as they seem for her, good acting, good dialogue, I definitely think it's a must watch if you have Netflix. And so it
Nice.
is No One Gets Out Alive. 85-minute runtime, doesn't overstay its welcome. Highly recommend.
Sweet. Well, I'll definitely have to check that one out then.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one I definitely did see.
Ugh.
This is one of those Amazon Prime Blumhouse movies. I think they're releasing 4 this month, and they already I think they just released the other 2 this Friday.
Yeah.
But this is Bingo Hell, and it's pretty much about a lot of these people that live in this small town go to this bingo hall all the time, and well, something happens to their bingo hall where the person that's normally running it disappears, and a new person takes over played by Richard Brake. And he's basically, I would say, either a demon or a devil or something along those lines. Kind of reminds me of Donald Sutherland's performance in Needful Things. Kind of like you get what you want, but something bad happens to you when it does. But yes, this is it's a very slow, kind of just like you got to stick with it in the beginning because the first half, some of the characters are kind of annoying. But when Richard Brake shows up on screen, it gets to be a lot of fun. He literally steals the show in this. It's got some pretty decent gore, and it's just ends up being pretty damn fun, like by the end of it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different than Scotty on my opinion on this one. I was quite disappointed because the main actress in it, I'm going to try to say her name properly, Adrienne Barzea. She played the old woman in Drag Me to Hell.
And which I had no idea that was her.
Yeah. And she did an incredible performance in that. I did not enjoy her in this film. Now, it could have been just the role she was told to play or whatever the case may be. I found her annoying. I found the
Which
opening
I think she was supposed to be.
Yeah, but I found the opening dialogue pointless. The first 35 minutes of the movie, I almost shut it off. I stuck it out, and I'm glad I did because, again, Richard Brake is awesome. He stole the show. You're right. He made this movie. Without him, this movie would have been a pile of shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. It's worth it. Like, and the other actors were fine. It wasn't the acting, it was the writing. And I get it that this is supposed to be for the masses, right? So like when Netflix does things like Open House or Intrusion or other films that are definitely made by Netflix, or that other one came out earlier this year, Army of the Dead, or
oh yeah,
right?
The Zack Snyder one, Army of the Dead.
Right, like those are fluffy, fluffy light horror films, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's fine, for what it's supposed to be and who the target audience is. Totally get it. But I did not enjoy it as much as Scott did. But that's just, I wouldn't say don't watch it because of that. It's just I found the first little bit really hard to get through. It is available on Prime as a free watch, so it's not like you're going to be out anything if you watch it. And I think for, maybe somebody who's into horror a little more, there is more gore in this. There's some excellent gore. Excellent practical effects. Like that also is a saving grace of the movie too. It was just that opening 35 minutes that I was like, shoot me, this can't go on. But then it got better. So I will give it that.
And I will say they fucked up big time, like the Blumhouse and them, because this was the perfect opportunity to add that song that I had you listen to when I was out visiting you on that weekend. But Amigo the Devil's Murder at the Bingo Hall.
Yeah.
Perfect freaking song for that, and they completely missed it. I was like,
Yeah.
that would have been so good for that movie.
Right. Well, maybe they couldn't get the rights to it. Who knows, right? I
Right.
don't know. Right. But yeah, it's not bad for an Amazon watch. It's an 89-minute runtime. The first, oh, sorry, my bad. I'm looking at the next one. It's an 85, so it's 4 minutes shorter.
So close.
So close. It's, for a free watch on Prime, I think it's fine for what it is.
Yeah, I think it's fun, especially like I said, when Richard Brake shows up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's awesome. So the next one is The Oak Room, which I know Scotty has seen.
Yes.
So I'll let him talk about it a little bit because he hasn't seen a lot because he doesn't get out much.
All right. So The Oak Room, basically,
he just stays in his bed all the time with his sword.
Well, yeah, I'm living my best life.
Not watching 2021s.
Yes, but this movie is about a bartender who all of a sudden gets a guest showing up in the middle of a cold, wintry night, and it's someone that had been pretty much from this town that kind of disappeared, and it's very dialogue heavy, but it's a lot of back and forth of asking what happened, where you been, blah blah blah, and like it's definitely puts tension in the conversation and awkwardness.
Oh,
yeah. But then the patron tells a story about something that happens in the Oak Room, which is another bar that gets brought up that I guess is well known. But yeah, I'd say I think you like this more than I do, but I still really dug this. I thought the performances were really freaking good. I was for not a lot going on the screen, I was captivated with the movie. The acting and performances and script were all freaking great. Just there wasn't a lot happening till I'd say close to the third act, and it was just a lot of dialogue. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this. I think it's worth a watch to anybody that has a chance to see it, because I think this one's on Tubi for me.
Yeah, The Oak Room I really enjoyed. This is very much a Canadiana film, a very much Ontario Canadiana film. It refers to common highways in Ontario. It talks about Gravenhurst. It talks about Highway 11. Which is a famous highway. If you live in Ontario, you know exactly where they're talking about in Northern Ontario. I enjoyed the very northern typical bartenders that they had, and the kid who wants to get out of Northern Ontario, so he goes away to school because he doesn't want to live the life his dad did in Northern Ontario. That's a very much a Canadiana culture thing, specifically Northern Ontario Canadiana culture thing. So I thought that was really well done. It's not a huge horror movie. I put it in the horror category because there's some gross shit that happens in it, but you could easily call it a thriller or mystery. I don't give a shit about horror labels or not. It doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I think it leans more towards thriller, but it does have horror elements in it.
Right. And at the end of the day, Scott and I talked about this back on episode 1. I don't really give a fuck. If it makes you uncomfortable and you think it's horror, great, go for it. I hate horror police. And the longer I do podcasting, the more I hate it. When people are like, horror movie, no one cares. You're not the fucking decider of what's horror and what's not. You're not. Get over yourself. So anyway, all that to be said, that some people may not consider this a full horror movie, and that's fine. I think the acting in it is what really did it for me in the dialogue. I thought it was a very interesting storytelling with a very simple set. It does a good job of being creepy without being over the top. I think it's a must watch of the year. It's an 89-minute runtime. It was filmed in Burlington, Ontario, Canada, Christian. I'm trying to figure out which bar it was filmed at to save the life of me, but I can't. It is available on Google Play United States, Hoopla, YouTube, Super Channel Amazon Channel, which is the weirdest name I've ever seen, and apparently Tubi in the United States. So
yep, and I think that's where this is a little bit more higher for you, is because you get a lot of the Canadian references that help make it more relatable.
And I love stuff. It's true. My bias is if it's made, Brandon makes fun of me. He's if it's filmed anywhere near Heather, it's in her top 10. And he's not wrong. He's really not. And I make no apologies for that. I like when movies are filmed around me. But there was a movie last year that was filmed very close to me, and I didn't make my top 10, and that was Becky. It did make it. You did like it. I did like it, and I think I gave her protagonist of the year.
Yes.
Because I thought she was such a great protagonist. But that was filmed literally 5 minutes away from my house.
Right.
And I wasn't like, oh my God, because it was filmed near me, I have to put it in my top 10. But it was a good film, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I don't think this will be in my top 10 either, but probably will end up in my top 40, top 30. I really did enjoy it. So yeah.
Nice.
And the next one, have you seen the next one? Yeah, because you recommended it to me.
Yes, I did.
Right.
So yeah, that one is The Night House, which was directed by David Bruckner. And it is about a woman who is trying to cope with the loss of her husband, who just out of nowhere committed suicide. She had no reason, like no reasoning why he would do it, and it just kind of just happened out of nowhere. So it's basically a movie about her just trying to cope with everything, and then weird things start happening at the house where this all happened. I'm not going to get into too much detail because this one's a very story-driven movie. Like you got to pay attention to it. But I just have to say the performance from what is the main actress,
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall, absolutely freaking incredible. Probably one of the best performances I've seen this year. Like she was absolutely amazing. The cinematography in this was gorgeous, very beautiful, and just a very good scary story. Like I felt like this was going to be like, oh no, here's another typical supernatural movie, blah 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 blah. But then it ends up going places that end up keeping my attention and kept me on my toes the whole time. This is definitely like, this could make my top 10. I haven't decided yet where it's going to be on my list, but right now I'm really high on this film. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Scott said everything that I wanted to say. Rebecca Hall has done movies such as The Awakening, Dorian Gray, Frost and Nixon, The Gift, The Prestige, and also Godzilla versus King Kong. And, I think she is an extremely talented actress. I don't know if you've seen The Awakening, but I
have not. I might have.
Oh, man, fucking phenomenal film. Really, really good movie, actually. So her acting chops are pretty high end to begin with. She owned this film. This film would have sucked if she wasn't in it. Yeah. She was absolutely incredible. The supporting actress, Sarah Goldberg, was quite good as well. She was in it quite a bit, and she was excellent as well, and has some pretty, more indie films under her, which just goes to show how great indie films can be. Yep. So I have nothing but praise for this film. I think everyone should check it out. This is a must watch of the year. This is ghost stories done right.
Yeah, 100% agree.
You are at a loss if you miss this.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen this in theater, but there was only one theater that was playing it, and it only did it like one weekend, and I missed that weekend.
Yeah, a fucking phenomenal film. This is Dave C. Watch The Night House.
Yes, 100% agree.
This is a must watch in 2021. Dave C., we love you, and watch this film.
Yes, lots of love, Dave.
I wonder how's Junior doing, Dave? We're thinking about him frequently.
I was disappointed I didn't get a pic for my birthday of Junior.
Like waving to you with like a little hat on or something.
Right? Exactly. Just missed opportunity, Dave.
Missed opportunity. So this movie is available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Video, Cineplex in Canada, YouTube, and it is worth whatever you pay for it. You will not be disappointed with this film. If you enjoy ghost stories, good acting, creepy sets, you will dig this. Rebecca Hall steals this movie. If anything, watch it at least for Rebecca Hall, because she is incredible in this film. Now,
speaking of movies that are not disappointing at all.
No, speaking of movies that this is my number one of the year. It's right up there with Don't Breathe.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one is a brand new one that came out on Shudder, and very highly anticipated by a lot of people because it was the return of the VHS series, and this is VHS 94. Where VHS 1 was good, VHS 2 was excellent, VHS Viral was blah, VHS 94 also blah.
Yeah.
This one had some really good moments in it. The first story was awesome, loved it. The second story was very creepy. The third story had some really cool effects at certain points, really bad CGI at others, and way too drawn out. And this was extremely boring for most of it.
I didn't know Short Circuit was in this one, though. I was really nice to see him again.
But yeah, this is the one that everyone was excited for because this is the same director that did the Cult story from part 2 of VHS. And yeah, it was that one was a big disappointment for me. However, the fourth story was the huge disappointment for me because it was about the Michigan militia, which are just a bunch of idiots that are can't trust the government, take power in their own hands, vigilante bullshit. and it was about a story that's they'd get what's coming to them. So I was excited, but dear God, the acting in this was so freaking painful.
It was
I
horrendous.
Yeah, it was some of the worst acting I've
Horrendous.
seen in a while.
Like,
And
I don't know if they just went down to the local, like, what do they call them? VFWs for you guys?
yeah,
And they were like, hey, anyone want to be in a fucking movie? And they were like, me! Like, honestly, like, I don't get where they got these actors from. They were horrible.
yeah, it was painful. And like the story ended up being pretty dumb. But then the wraparound was also just as painful as the story because the wraparound was basically a cheap haunted house with horrible actors.
Horrible. And the ending was fucking stupid.
Yeah, very dumb.
It
So
was
yeah, this
horrible.
was a big disappointment for me because I was excited because of who was involved and the stories that were going to be told. And yeah, it's like literally like a 5.5 for me.
Yeah, it has a 3.0 rating on Letterboxd.
That's way too high.
Except for the people who have watched it. Catherine and her husband Kevin both gave it 2 stars and 1.5 respectively. Tim Walker gave it 3 stars, and you gave it 2.5. Nobody here has given it higher than a 3. Tim was the most generous at 3, and maybe it's because he really enjoyed the first 2 or 3 stories.
Right.
Yeah, dreadful. What a disappointment. It's a shame. It really is.
Yeah.
If you really like found footage and you're a completist, watch it. But I'd be shocked if this, with the exception of the first story, the second story was okay. The ending, a lot of people didn't like, or Brandon didn't like. I say a lot of people, like Brandon is everything and everyone, but he didn't like it. And then he is everything to Scott and I. And then the third one I liked enough at parts. I think if they just kind of trimmed it up a little bit, it would have been better. It was just a little too long.
Yeah, because they drug that one out way too much.
Right. Anyway, it's on Shudder. So if you're a completist, it's on all the Shudders. It's also on AMC, Roku Premium Channel. But yeah, I don't know. Watch Bingo Hell.
Right. Yeah, that's much better.
Right. I think it's a better film, and you saw how much I love that one. So that's it for our.
Well, I got that one that I didn't put on the list. One I forgot to add to the list was Nightbooks on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
This one stars Kristen Ritter. It is more a children's style horror story because it's based off a book. But it's about this kid that ends up getting lured into this apartment that actually seems to be in a different dimension when he goes into it, and is run by this witch that pretty much will kill children unless they tell her good scary stories. And the witch is played by Kristen Ritter, and she does a fantastic job of just being like just that evil witch style. Like she does a great job of that. And the kid actors were really good. It sounds like it would play out like an anthology, but it's actually not an anthology. It's like the main story is about this kid trying to like write these stories because he loved writing them when he was younger, and then got picked on for writing them, so he stopped. So it's kind of him just trying to find like, it's pretty much a story about, be who you are and be proud of who you are. And
so even though your back is busted, be proud of who you are, Scott.
I am.
Be proud.
But yeah, if you have any kiddos that are like, I'd say the age of like 7 to 15, I would recommend this to watch that with them. And also, if you're our age, just check it out. I think it's just a really well done movie. It's not scary, but it's got good effects, and it's just a fun, like children's style horror movie. Like I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll watch it eventually. I'll probably watch it closer to Halloween. Because it's spooky season, and I need to watch as many scary movies as possible. I don't do that all year round, so
no,
it's really important to do it now. So older films. I watched WNUF Halloween Special 2013.
Yes.
It was okay. I'm just gonna put this out there now.
I thought it was a good found footage style.
Here's the thing. I was digging the first bit. I enjoyed the throwback commercials, but then I got annoyed by the commercials because they came on all the time, which get they were doing what happens at that time in the 90s because it's supposed to be like a 90s recording broadcast. I didn't find the scares of the found footage as scary as it could have been.
Yeah, I can give you that.
Right. But I will give them credit for doing something different. It's unique. I think if you haven't watched it, I think you're at a loss. Please watch it. I think it's worth watching and deciding for yourself how you feel about it. It will not be a repeat watch for me around Halloween time.
Okay, yeah, this one may for me because I did enjoy it. But yeah, I do agree with you about the commercials. They are placed in there so much. But yeah, obviously, like you said, that's what it was like back then.
Right.
But yeah, that does get a bit old, but I do have to give him thumbs up for being creative with that.
Yeah, like I thought it was creative and it was interesting. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I also watched The Barn 2016, and for a low budget indie film, that's actually not that
Yeah.
bad either.
I almost picked that for our main topic.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice.
It slipped my mind like at the time when we were discussing this,
I'm
but like
glad that you
afterwards, I'm
just
like,
had an 80s fucking cum fest that we need to sit through now. How much hashtag Scott loves Dario Argento. But now if I get a trivia question of name Dario Argento films, I can easily name at least like 6. So, I am definitely winning in that area, but that would have been much better than the 80s fest that Scott decided to.
Hey, to be fair, I came up with this list on the fly, so I was like, just ones that were on the top of my head. I'm like, oh yeah, all these.
And Scott only likes 80s horror movies, so that
only yeah.
That's all he watches over.
Yeah, I don't argue that 2010s are as good or better than the 80s.
Never. You don't even like any movies from the 2010s. Like, no. I've never heard you talk about any movie from the 2010s ever. You're always just like, can we watch Friday the 13th Part 4 again, Heather? Can we watch don't worry about Dexter barking. It's fine. Everyone, that's Scott's dog in the background. He also agrees. He's like, 80 movies are where it's at. He's like, it takes me back. He's like, Gordon was a real hero. Gordon was the unstrung hero.
And Gordon lives.
And Gordon lives.
Commit suicide.
Hey, you know what he did? He was like, fuck this shit. I'm peacing.
Yep.
Fuck you, motherfuckers. Anyway, so yeah, WNUF was very interesting. I, respect for how it was made, respect for how it was done. But I won't rewatch it personally. But you know what? It was an interesting concept.
Yeah, and I'm glad you at least checked it out.
Yeah.
And the one that I ended up watching, I've been on my, let's finish off my catalog of Vincent Price horror films that I've somehow just missed over and getting a chance to finally watch. So I finally checked out The Last Man on Earth, 1964, which I Am Legend, the Will Smith remake or readaptation was based off of, because I think the book was called Last Man on Earth, but there's been 3 movies based off that book: The Omega Man with Charlton Heston, Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, then I Am Legend with Will Smith. I have not seen The Omega Man, but I will say Last Man on Earth, way better than I Am Legend.
but the doggy.
I know. The doggy seems very sad in that. That's about it.
Okay.
But yeah, The Last Man on Earth, just seeing Vincent Price pretty much play this character that's completely and utterly by himself. Like it's him acting by himself for, I'd say, 7/8 of the film.
So basically like Tom Hanks and
Castaway.
Castaway, yeah.
Yeah, so seeing and Vincent Price on the screen, Vincent Price, he has a commanding presence.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like he is just incredible. So seeing him just being able,
I would have been banging him if I totally would have been like a fucking side piece. Better right, I would have been. Absolutely.
He is one suave motherfucker.
Oh yeah, fine, side piece right here, no problem.
Me too.
Right, Scott, we both be side pieces.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, I loved this movie. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I really, really, really dug this one, and definitely will be a movie I can revisit of his down the road. Like, I'm definitely I'm missing a few of the lesser known ones now. I think I've finally hit all the bigger named films of his. So now I'll just have to watch like the lesser known ones, which would be fun.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Booyah. That's awesome. Good for you, Scotty, collecting your little like Vincent Price watch list. I love it. Good. Look at you go, huh?
I was like, my love for that man.
Yeah, well, it's legit. And we both be side pieces. So, that tells you right there, how we feel. So what we've been listening to, this is like so vomity Canadian. I apologize in advance. There's a podcast called Dark Poutine.
That's amazing.
Legit. So it's these 2 dudes, and they're obviously buddies, and they do true crime in Canada. And they started the podcast in 2017. So I've been listening from the beginning. There's now 300 episodes, and they're fucking funny. So they start off with talking about like how, like every episode, they're like, give their disclaimer about how dark poutine is not for the faint of heart, ... Put on your toque, grab your double, scarf down a Nimo bar. It's time to eat some dark poutine. And for any Canadian, all of those frames. I don't think you know what a Nimo bar is, Scott.
Nope,
or a toque. So a toque is basically a hat, like a cap that you would wear, like a I don't know. I only call it a toque. I don't know how to fucking explain it any other ways. You know, when you go to the store and you put
I'll
on.
look it up.
Okay, remember that gremlin thing I sent a picture to you of? And
Oh,
it was
snow
like
hat.
a win. Yes.
Or a winter hat, yeah.
Yeah, we call them a toque. So
Or what do they call those, beanies?
Sure, beanies, yeah. So we call them a toque. So we also, the double double is how you order a coffee, 2 milks or 2 creams and 2 sugars, whatever you prefer. Very typical, like coined by Tim Hortons kind of thing. And a Nanaimo bar is a sweet. So anyway, these 2 guys talk about different true crime shit that's happened in Canada, and they are funny. Like, you can tell they're friends. I think they're funny like you and I are funny. Hopefully people who listen to this podcast think the same. And you can tell, like, it's also made me think, when you listen to a podcast and you can tell when people are on there who truly like each other. Exploding Heads has this, like, in spades. You can tell that they truly like each other. Right. Exploding Heads available on Patreon. So their interaction between Dave, Christian, and Brandon is very friendly, very engaging. And the same's been had when we've had all 3 of them on sections of Friday Nightmares. Eventually, I want to have all 3 of them together on with us, and we do a special show with them.
That would be awesome.
Right. So, Dave, it's coming. So
just like me. Yeah.
Just like Scott. So, like, that's an example of chemistry, right? Like the Horror for Dummies, another one.
Yeah.
Huge chemistry.
Absolutely amazing, right? Chemistry.
Right. The Horror Returns, another one. Huge chemistry. And those are 2 podcasts that have been listed on the top 100 podcasts that were on that list that came out. Again, congratulations to those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Lance and Brian and Phil, like, you can tell they like each other. And when people like each other, it tends to make for a better podcast.
Yeah.
Especially if there's 2 people. And that's what Dark Poutine is for me. These 2 dudes have obviously known each other a long time. They obviously like each other. They have some inside jokes. And the way they talk is so Canadiana. Like, they sound like Doug and Mackenzie. And
nice.
Right?
The Mackenzie brothers. Love it.
Mackenzie brothers. Totally sound like that. And I recommend it. If you want to learn about true crime in Canada, Dark Poutine, you can find it on Podcast Addict, Spotify, or anywhere you find your podcasts.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a fun one, actually.
Right. And like, I wanted to shout out those other podcasts too, because all those people listen to our show on a regular basis.
And we love them.
And they're good podcasters, and I've learned a lot from all of them, and their genuineness with each other. You can't fake that. Like, you can't. And I find that's what sets podcasts apart, because sometimes when you listen to a podcast, and I think people make this mistake when they get into podcasting, they just think that they can podcast with any old person. One, I think you should podcast with video on if you can, because it helps you be able to see the person, right? And to gauge their reaction. 2, I think it's important that you have some kind of friendship, relationship, talking to, or chemistry with them. Because if you don't, your podcast is going to sound like shit. It's going to sound like 2 people talking awkwardly for, however many hours that you choose to do it for. And one of the best pieces of feedback that we've got is that we sound like we're 2 friends talking and shooting the shit.
Right.
And I think that is, even when I listen, I like to hear that too. I want to hear people that aren't awkwardly pausing. When you do that, it sounds weird. Right. So.
Yep. Agreed. I was saying, that is like the best compliment I think we've gotten for the show is just, you guys sound like you're just 2 friends having fun recording together.
And we know nothing. So that's the only compliment they can give us, because we can't even get the names of movies right.
That's true.
Eden Lake or Lake Eden.
Lake Eden. It's Lake Eden now.
We fuck up years of films. We don't know whose actors was in what. We mispronounce names. I mispronounce names. Scott has shitty taste in films. So, like, really, you're not listening to this for knowledge. You're listening to this to be entertained. So
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, check out Dark Poutine if you get a chance.
Hell yeah. The one I'm gonna bring up. Before I talk about the podcast, I just want to let everybody know that I am still working on doing the Stephen King audiobooks. Just gotta say, The Shining, the narrator for that one has just made it very difficult. Like, he's good, but it's just hard for me to get into it. So I've been losing interest. So I'm almost finished with it. I'm forcing myself through it. So I will have my thoughts on that hopefully by next episode. But so the podcast I brought for today is Celtic Myths and Legends. By the host is Shan Esther Powell. She is from Cornwall in England, I think that's where it's from. But yeah, like she actually has this is a solo podcast, and she is working on her master's for myths and legends in Celtic lore. So she just does these little half-hour episodes talking about one mythological creature or legend each episode, with like a lot of research and everything put into it. Like she knows a lot of what she's talking about, and she does a lot of TikTok videos for her podcast as well, where she like goes to places where these legends are talked about and stuff like that, and just kind of wanders around. And but yeah, very
Like found
informative.
footage film waiting to happen.
Right, exactly. But yeah, very informative, especially if you're into that stuff, like myths and legends of like especially the Celtic. Like she knows a lot, and I've wanted to have her on if we ever did a folklore episode, because like that would just be kind of her wheelhouse. But I don't know if she will be available anytime soon, because she's been really busy. But
yeah, and I don't know if she'd want to be on our podcast. We're not that good. Like, she hasn't listened, has she?
I think she's listened to a few episodes. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
But yeah, if you are into like this myths and legends like this, definitely check hers out. It's Celtic Myths and Legends. She has 14 episodes out. They're very sporadic when they come out, just because she's a busy person and doing this by herself, and it sounds like the editing takes a long time. But yeah, very, very informative, cool little podcast that I wanted to give a shout out to.
You know who else we should have on? Phil Ray and Peter Baird.
Oh yes, well I think we're going to be doing something with them at some point. At least that's what Phil Ray wanted.
Well, we should do something on our show with them, because Phil's hot.
Oh, he takes the place of Smokeshow.
I don't think I know he knows that I'm not his type, right? But that's just fine. But I like Phil's smoking, and he's funny.
Oh, he's
so
great.
funny. Him and Peter's fucking Facebook statuses kill me. Like, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
You're friends with him on Facebook. If people aren't friends with Peter Baird and Phil Ray on Facebook, you should be. They have a YouTube channel, don't they? Do you remember the name of the YouTube channel of him?
I think it was called What We Watched.
What We Watched. These two are fucking funny. Like, honestly, you want to have laughs with two people that have a really good sense of humor. They're also two people that had chemistry. Yet again, another example of people that had chemistry. And I think Double Edge Double Bill, Adam and Thomas have really good chemistry too. Like, there's just certain people who, and I know I'm shouting out tons of podcasts, obviously 22 Shots as well. I should include them as well. They've been around a very long time and have very good chemistry.
Cinema Psyops too.
Cinema Psyops, Kill the Cast when they were recording. Right, not so much right now. They're kind of on a little bit of a hiatus, but there's a lot of podcasts out there that really do a good job of having that chemistry. And I wonder if Cinema Psyops records with video on.
I'm not sure. I know they used to record in person, but then with COVID, they started doing Skype a lot more.
Darren and Vanessa also have a lot of good conversations too. But their conversations are more deep and intellectual and like very political humor.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, man, great shows. A lot of them are on the Legion Podcast Network. So if you haven't subscribed to the Legion Podcast Network, please do so. Also, if you become a patron, Bo Ransdell has a new show called The Dark Parade. So you can definitely check that out on the Legion Patreon as well. So, and
I believe our friend Darren Wilson did a psychosemantic episode specifically for Patreon, and it's him talking about the politics of the one of the Captain America comic books.
Oh man, I got to download that. What am I doing with my life? Sorry, Darren. I'm going to download it right now. I'm actually going to end the show and just listen to it.
We're not even going to finish the recording.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
Download and listen.
Who gives a shit what we have to say anyway? But we will be back after a short break, hearing from one of our Legion friends. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
This'll keep it quiet. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. You caught me cutting a new show. I'm Bo Ransdell, and I'm one of the many creators you can find on Legion Podcasts. I said quiet! My fellow podcasters and I work hard to bring you the best in horror podcasting, but that comes at a cost. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Not that, but also yes. No, what I'm getting at is that there are server costs for good microphones and software for editing, all the things that make our shows, fun to listen to. And you can help. If you're enjoying the shows on legionpodcasts.com or in the Legion Network available on iTunes and Stitcher, just about anywhere you can download a podcast, really, you can help us out and get a little something for your trouble at patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. For just $2 a month, you get a pair of movie commentaries exclusive to Patreon, and for $5, you can also join us for a monthly screening of a movie. All of that available on patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. We appreciate it, and thank you for listening. Now, back to the cutting room.
Welcome back. So as we talked about in our intro, our episode today is based on demons, basically the demons that took over Scott's back, and is forcing him to be in a lot of pain. So
exercise these demons out of me.
Exercise these demons out of Scott's back. So for a little bit of a fun article, because honestly, demons can get into some pretty heavy religious areas, and I am not here to tell you what you should or should not believe in when it comes to demons. So we're just going to do 10 sinister facts about Satan. This is from the #fact site. So it's more of fun things that, we have created about Satan and the belief of demons and stuff. So Satan, also known to many as the quote unquote devil, is known as a representation of evil in the world. For thousands of years, his character has been written about across various religious texts as the enemy of God. But does Satan represent a person, or is he just a fictional character? And how did he end up in hell? So here's 10 sinister facts about Satan that you should know. The word Satan means adversary. So the idea of a character representing evil first appeared in the text Paradise Lost. Up to this point, Satan had no representation or form that had been established. Written in 1677, John Milton's poem explained the fall of man and the fall of an angel. Milton's poems bases Satan on the idea of him being a foe of man and God with the medieval ideas of what Satan represented. This was one of the first texts to help and define what Satan was. So let's get back. I kind of blended 1 and 2 there, but that's fine. 1 and 2 facts. So also mentioning that Satan was based on John Milton's poem, Lost Poem. So Satan wasn't always a character to be fearful of. In the Middle Ages, Satan was seen as a laughingstock and a character that was more of an annoyance to God. Satan would also be depicted in theatrical plays as the comical fool, who was not only clumsy, but was an ugly character too. American historian Jeffrey Burton Russell describes Satan as a more pathetic and repulsive than terrifying during the medieval ages. A collection of writings called The Golden Legend was compiled in 1260, and they told tales of saints' encounter with Satan. They spoke of how saints would use their intelligence to overcome him. It wasn't until the 1930s that Satan became associated with witchcraft, and this is when he started to be seen as a fearful character. So I guess he went to school, he got himself an education, he maybe spruced up a little bit. People were like, no longer was he a laughing joke.
So, I think it said I think you said 1930s, but it was 1430s. I just wanted to make sure to clarify.
It was 1930, Scott. I changed history. It took another 5 decades for this to happen, or more than that, 5 centuries for this to happen. 5 centuries. This internet is so wonky with us right now. Oh my God. Anyway, That's fine. It is what it is. Satan's number is 666. So 666 is known as a number of the beast, or that of Satan or any other demon. It was first written in chapter 13 of the book of Revelations of the New Testament. Number 666 is associated with being man's number, or the number of a man. In the book of Revelation, 666 was given to the Roman Empire Nero, as it was a numerical value of his name. He was a nasty and vicious ruler. Therefore, this is where the association number 666 and evil has stemmed from. In mathematics, 666 is a triangle number and has many properties that make it appear magical. Some people take the number association so seriously that they avoid all connections with 666, as they fear it is the devil's work. So 666. So yeah, apparently, wasn't there a hotel room? What movie was that? Was that in The Shining?
No, that was 284, something like that. But no, I do know that hotels don't have a 13th floor or a 13th room. Same with I think there's 6 and anything with the number 6 in it in certain hotels is avoided.
There's no 666.
Yeah, and then also I know a lot of people, if they're buying something and their total comes to 666, they will buy something else to avoid that.
Oh. Interesting. Or they could just take something off of the total and
right
work too. Anyway, Satan is one of the 7 princes of hell. In 1409, John Wycliffe comprised a list of seven fallen angels who were all tempted by sin. Each of the princesses fell from heaven for evil sins alongside Lucifer in the battle against Michael. Lucifer fell because of pride, and he is seen as the worst due to his status in heaven. I don't even know how to say this.
Beelzebub
fell due to envy, Satan from wrath, Abaddon from sloth. Abaddon. You're so like correcting me, huh? Why don't you read them? You go ahead, Scott.
Okay, I'll read these parts then. Beelzebub fell due to envy, Satan was from wrath, Abaddon from sloth, Mammon from greed, Belphegor from gluttony, and Asmodeus from lust.
How's your back, Scott? I want to let you know mine's fine. Anyway, although each sin was labeled from within an angel, all this informed what we know today as Satan. So I guess Satan was like the form of all of them. I don't know. Satan is sometimes used as a summary name for all seven sins. Wrath is seen as one of the most powerful sins, hence why Satan has become one of the most common names for evil. Satan has an entourage of demons. Satan isn't alone in hell. He has a crowd of equal evil and sinful characters. The most common form of servants associated with Satan is a demon. These are summoned by Satan and are usually in form of evil spirits. So this kind of sums up every single fucking movie we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Satan obtains these spirits from the deceased who commit sins on earth, or alternatively, they are other fallen angels that side with Lucifer. Demons are set to carry out all of Satan's desires on earth, whether it be terrorizing humans or tempting them into sinful acts. The word demon comes from the Greek word of daemon.
Daemon, I think.
Daemon, which links to the world's spirits and guide. Essentially, a demon is both of these. However, demons will guide you towards evil rather than good. Then our next one is, I won't read all of it. Satan is heavily linked to witches and witchcraft. I'm going to just skip over that because honestly, I don't want to give witchcraft a bad name.
Right.
Satan was once an angel named Lucifer, which is kind of, we've already talked about Lucifer a little bit. More Americans believe in Satan than Darwin. God, that's not surprising.
No.
And then finally, Satan's physical appearance is ever evolving. This is very true. Satan or the devil is represented in many varying forms across cultures. Some believe that he is a force like God, but is the force of all evil. In the Bible, he's believed to have been the snake that tempted Adam and Eve. He's also been known to take on varying representational forms. I guess like anything from a snake to a horned goat.
To a very beautiful man.
A beautiful man. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that Satan seems to come across as. So that's interesting. We'll include the link here if you want to read in detail more fun facts about Satan and all the bad things he does, if you're interested. But this leads to our discussion of our movies. As I said, Scott chose these movies for our topic today. We thought that demons might be a nice, fun thing to talk about around spooky season and when they come to life. So why don't we get into our first film?
All right. So if we're going to talk about demons, the first movie we got to bring up is, well, obviously, Demons, which was released October 4th, 1985. Its plot follows two female university students who, along with a number of random people, are given complimentary tickets to a mysterious movie screening, where they soon find themselves trapped in the theater with a horde of ravenous demons. So this is totally 80s Italian schlockfest at its finest, directed by, Roberto Bava and produced by Dario Argento, and totally has a lot of amazing 80s American music, which I thought was hilarious. But I picked this one because this is when I think of demons, like this topic, I wasn't thinking like, Exorcist or anything like that. I would put that in more of a possession category. This one, obviously, they do possess people, but they turn into actual monsters. And that's what I feel like when I talk about demons. That's what I wanted to bring up this movie, Demons, because the monsters in this are hideous, grotesque, and bring something unique to this type of monster where, it's almost zombie-like with how they infect others and turn them into demons themselves, but where zombies need a bite and you have to die and come back to life. These demons can just scratch you, or a drop of blood can touch you, or something, just something very slight can transform you almost instantaneously into a demon. and you turn hideous and foul with sharp teeth and bubbling skin and pukey green pus-filled pockets of flesh, and it's just a very violent transformation and kind of horrific.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a lot to say about these movies.
Eh,
It's good. This is gonna be a Scott show for sure. I really did enjoy this film. I think it did a great job of representing what we envision after reading that article, what we envision demons to look like, and what their purpose is. Their purpose is to create chaos, to scare you, to kill you, to turn you into evil. I think the transformations into demons is the best part of this film.
yes.
When the first character changes in the washroom, great transformation. When one of our male protagonists eventually gets scratched or bit, I can't remember which one it is, and he slowly changes and he's trying to convince his buddy to just kill him.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good acted, excellent scene, very emotional. Really enjoyed that piece of it. Like overall, this was a very entertaining movie. I wonder if porno got the inspiration from this.
I have a feeling it might have, because
Right.
like the whole movie within a movie type thing. Because like what's going on screen is kind of what's going on in the theater as well.
Well, and porno takes place in a movie theater. It's a
Yep.
demon that comes from unseen and on the screen. I do like how they're watching this movie and it releases the demons and the demons get released. And was that the role of the masked man? Was the purpose of him was that they was bringing people to this theater to be sacrificed?
Pretty much, I believe so.
I
And
wish they had explored that more.
yes, and the funny thing is that masked man is actually the director of one of our other films, The Church.
Oh, that's interesting. You
Yeah,
mean the softcore porn that wasn't a porn because there wasn't enough sex in it? That one?
yes,
It was
pretty
filmed
much.
like it wanted to be a softcore porn.
Yes.
It's I did like a lot of the characters in this one. I really liked the main African American character.
Oh,
I
yeah, the
can't remember
pimp?
his name. The pimp. I thought he was awesome. I thought he was really funny, and he had a lot of like common sense of what you should do. Like destroy the
Yeah.
movie would be the first thing I would think of doing too. The blind guy you feel really bad for.
Which that is like the one thing, like it's totally Italian thing of just not making sense. But why would a blind man go to a movie theater? It just
Why
seems
wouldn't a
very
blind
odd.
man go to the movie theater? Why, you don't think blind people can go to the movies, Scott?
I mean, they can. It
I didn't
seems
know
very
you were
weird.
accessibility shaming.
I'm not, but I'm saying it seemed really weird.
Well, that's what described videos for. That's what she was doing.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Look at you, Scott. Look at that. I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck off,
you
Heather."
smartass.
But in all fairness, in 1985, we were not at the place where there was described video. Like, let's be
Right.
real here, right? I get exactly what you're saying. That's a thing in 2005, but definitely not a thing. And this is going back almost 40 years ago that this movie
Right.
was made. They were not thinking about described videos. So I think he was blind to have his girlfriend or whatever she was running amok on him behind his back and
Yeah.
him not know and all that other shit. So I think that's why they set that up. And then she was describing the movie to him. So they did, tie that in that she was talking about what was going on. But yeah, I'm teasing poor Scott today. Gary Hill's going to be like, see how they're so mean to Scott. She always makes fun of him.
Well,
He's-
I did correct you earlier, so I deserve this.
Oh no, you have every right to correct me. I just like teasing you. You read much better than I do, which is why you should just read The Shining.
I know. If I had more time to read, well, I guess while I'm freaking laying on my back.
Well, yeah, you have all the time in the world, right?
Though reading while laying on your back like this is very difficult.
Oh yeah, because then your arms are going to get sore holding the book, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just and then it'll fall on my face and knock me out.
But it's true though, the narrator of that story, if the narrator isn't working for you, it can be super annoying to listen to. I've had to shut off podcasts because I can't stand the narrator. And I like the topic, but I'm like, I can't fucking stand your voice. People feel the same way about me. That's just anyway. Back to demons. No, it's probably true.
There was one demon I wanted to bring up too that I thought really was weird that this happened, because they've never explored this before, and then all of a sudden this happens. But the one girl's friend, the other girl, she like gets hurt and like she falls over because she's getting possessed, and they knock her on the ground. And when they knock her to the ground, all of a sudden she like starts like contorting, and a demon pops out of her back instead of like her transforming fully, which looked awesome. But it's like, okay, where did that come from? And what the hell? Okay. Like, I'm just going to roll with it because it's just this type of movie, but
it's just a lot happening at any given time. But I think it really does represent the idea that demons coming to take over the world, the slow descent within a movie theater, the great special effects for the time, the music's great. It's very Dario Argento, like he's producing it, right? But obviously he had some stake in what happened.
I think he also maybe written the script as well. I'd have to look into that, but
he definitely had his little fingers in the pie there, which is fine. It's a very entertaining film. I did enjoy it. The special effects are great. The demons are great. What exactly you would want. You get attached to certain characters, and when they die, you feel bad. Like, I think overall, this is one of the better movies you made me watch.
Yeah, I have to agree on that one.
Right. Then why don't we get into the next one? Because I'm sure you have hopefully something to say, because I don't have much to say on this one.
All right. So the next movie I chose for this topic was The Gate, which was released May 15th, 1987. When Al and Glenn's parents leave town for the weekend, Al uses the opportunity to throw a party while brother Glenn and his friend Terry decide to explore a hole left by a tree removal service in the backyard. When unexplainable phenomena begin occurring, Terry, with the help of his extensive heavy metal music collection, comes to the conclusion that he and Glenn have accidentally opened a gateway to hell.
My apologies. I meant the church. I forgot that we were talking about the gate next.
Okay.
The church, I'll have nothing to say. The gate, I actually did enjoy as well.
All right. So this one I picked just because, once again, it's a different form of demon, and also kind of pulls into play the whole like heavy metal having like evil satanic lyrics that if you play them backwards, there's like incantations and spells to help defeat demons or summon demons and stuff. So, there's always been that huge thing with like mainly, I guess, Christianity, like always saying that about heavy metal music, especially like Ozzy Osbourne and all them. So that's kind of one of the reasons I brought this, and just kind of a different take on it, and some very unique demons, because these ones are truly just summoned, because they have to have a sacrifice, which is an accidental sacrifice because their dog ends up getting killed.
Yeah.
And poor doggo. But poor Angus. But the one friend is like, okay, you guys got a lot going on right now. I'll go take care of the dog. I'll take him to a vet or whatever to have him buried. And no one is opened when he's going to do that. So he comes back and he just buries it in the hole in the backyard, which kind of releases the demons themselves, which are really goofy looking, tiny little mini me monsters that, like, I don't know how to describe them, but like
they look like little trolls.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, like little trolls. Like they're just very ugly and just very tiny and just kind of grunt and wave around. But like you could definitely tell they were in some scenes played by actors in suits, and in other scenes like claymation and like some CGI uses.
Yes.
But yeah, for the time, like the way they did it, that's where I find that incredible. But yeah, I've always loved this film since I was a kid, just because these little demons kind of freaked me out, like especially when I was younger. Now they look cheesy and hokey, but
the special effects aren't bad for 1987 though. The practical claymation and stuff is pretty good.
Oh yeah, it still looks good. Yeah, I just say the creatures themselves look kind of just goofy. They don't look as scary. But I do like the one thing about this one where these are like the minions of a bigger demon. Like these tiny ones are just like there, but like there is a much larger demon that looks very similar to them, except with multiple arms and way, 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 way bigger. But
Thanks.
But yeah, that's like the part of the demon part I wanted to bring into this one that I felt was kind of a decent topic to bring along.
Yeah, I thought this movie was really fun. I'm glad we're not talking about the church yet. So I like the kids in this one. I did like the relationship between the little brother and the sister. And when the demons come to life, how the little brother is trying to do whatever he needs to do to keep everybody safe and alive. I love when the little demons come together to bait the big demon. And there's that big showdown with the claymation. It goes back and forth between claymation, and then you see the kid like being hung upside down by a rope or whatever it is he was being hung upside down by. I thought that was cool. I thought there was some very good little jump scares in this. I thought the whole backyard thing when they fall into the one guy, Glenn, I think it is, or Al, I can't remember which
Terry.
one. Terry falls into the hole. And yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. And he's like trying to climb out and shit. Like it was a total. I was watching this, I'm like, God, like I swear every 1980s kind of kid horror movie is the same. Like
Oh, it
they're
totally is.
all filmed kind of the same. The storylines are all kind of the same. And it's there's just that feeling you get whether you're watching the never ending story or you're watching Poltergeist or you're watching, which Poltergeist was, I think, 1988, wasn't it, or 89?
I think that was 82, actually.
Or was it Poltergeist 1982?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's
I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I believe it is.
No, you're probably right. And just other films, like they just have that 80s fucking feel to it. And this movie is no exception. Even the way the plot moves around, right? You kind of get like, oh, you think it's over, but it's not over. Happens in every 80s film. They're like, all right, we got 20 minutes left to go in the movie and it's done. Woo, we beat the demon. Woo, everything's good. And you're like, but there's 20 motherfucking minutes left in this movie. So you know everything's not good because you still got 20 fucking minutes to go. So I find that's very much a signature of 1980 films. I did find this entertaining. I did find this good. I will, say this is not my favorite movie out of the ones that we've watched, but I did enjoy the claymation, how the demons came back. And I enjoyed, of course, the whole, like you talked about it already, the heavy metal thing, you play it backwards and,
yeah, it's like
it's
a theme that we've heard about throughout our lives.
Like it's the fucking, it's such a hate on heavy metal. It's very much like Christian activists against heavy metal, but and it's a great pull of Satan and all that kind of stuff into pop culture, right? Is presenting it through the music. Enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a fun film.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up also too. I like when you brought up the whole demons coming together. The undead construction worker that was found in the wall.
Oh yeah,
I love that effect when he's coming after them and then he just kind of falls and explodes into a bunch of the little minions.
Yes, awesome.
That is so freaky too.
Yeah, awesome. Like it's a very entertaining demon-like film, but it's definitely more of a fun film. It's not.
Yes.
It's not creepy or scary. Now probably would be if you were young watching it, but yeah, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I guess we can move on to one that I think is both Heather and I's probably favorite of the topic tonight.
Yes.
And that will be Pumpkinhead from January 13, 1989. After his son dies in a hit-and-run accident, Ed Harley seeks revenge against the teenagers responsible with the help of a local witch. Ed summons the vengeful demon Pumpkinhead to hunt and kill the group of friends. But when Ed discovers a bond between himself and the creature, he begins to have second thoughts about employing the vicious monster, and he fights to end Pumpkinhead's murderous rampage before it is too late. Now, this one is, if you've listened to our favorite monsters top 5 list, you knew all of us fucking love the design of Pumpkinhead by Stan Winston.
Yeah.
The effects of him are absolutely incredible. But the reason I chose this, besides him just being an awesome representation of a monster, was that, once again, this is a different take on demon. You're summoning a demon to get revenge, which is done in a lot of books and novels and stuff like that. And obviously, when that happens, usually goes wrong. And there's always some price to pay when you summon a demon. And this one is the same way. Like, he becomes attached to Pumpkinhead and starts... Pumpkinhead feels his pain. He feels Pumpkinhead's pain. He sees through Pumpkinhead's eyes. Like, it's just very interesting take on like this whole demonology.
Yeah, I thought it was you become the demon.
Yes, like you pretty much becoming,
right. You become Pumpkinhead, right? So like I always thought that was interesting, right? It's like if you allow evil to enter into you, kind of like what that article talked about, then you become that evil. Right. So it's very, very fascinating. I've always been a fan. We talked about special effects already. I think this movie has a lot more emotional pull to it than the other ones do. I didn't feel emotionally attached to anyone in the other films. Like, I like the kid and his sister, and I didn't really want anything shitty to happen to them in the gate. Like I was like, man, they're nice kids. But like, it wasn't like this one where you see, Ed Harley's son get killed and you see his grief and you sense that undying pain of a parent that lost a child and is willing to do anything to get revenge. And I think that to me makes this like, leaps and bounds above the other movies. Like, I can't even start to go on how much better of a movie I think this is compared to the other ones.
Well, I mean, and also the acting in this film is really good. I mean, Lance Henriksen's performance alone is just heartbreaking and just incredible at the same time.
And even the kids, you believe that majority of them feel bad for what's happened.
Yeah, and want to help besides the one asshole.
Yeah, and the one guy is like just a piece of shit who somehow keeps going throughout the movie.
Yeah, I think they wanted him to last the longest, so it felt more satisfying when he finally did get it.
I guess so, right? Because you felt bad for a lot of the other people who were just trying to help, and
they just get sucked into this and killed for like when they're trying to be the ones helping him.
I do love the look of Pumpkinhead when he enters into the room. I think he is scary. Like that is a scary demon. It's definitely not like I found with the other demons, like demons was scary. If I was in a movie theater and we started turning into demons, yes, I would be fucking freaked out and that would be terrifying. Absolutely. But I found like in this one, he's just the ominous presence of him, and combined with the grief and the questioning of ethical choices and is an eye for an eye really justified and all that other stuff that comes with this film, which is really more of a deeper level about evil and revenge and all that other stuff. Excellent. We talked about in our monster episode, the special effects here are just fucking for 1989. They still hang out. They still hold up today. They're still great.
Yeah. And I love like just going to kind of focus on the design still, but like the name Pumpkinhead is fitting because he does look like he is like pumpkin shaped head for the most part. And which kind of like for me, I tie into Halloween when I watch this. So it gives me an excuse to watch this like during my time of year. But like you were saying, he is just a formidable presence that just like creates terror when he's on the screen. And I think part of that helps is the fact that he looks so alien and thin and gangly with really long arms and like a weird shaped head. And being as tall as it is, because it is monstrously huge.
Absolutely. And it's ominous, right? Like the power of it for sure.
And I love how like the whole thing is how you have to summon him. You have to dig up his withered corpse in this weird, creepy ass like field that has like a pumpkin growing out of it. And it's like a withered baby corpse almost. And then it's got to be fed the blood of the person that wants to summon him, and it starts to slowly grow and get taller and become the Pumpkinhead we know. And then as we've seen at the end, he starts getting the face of Lance Henriksen on him.
Yeah.
Like, so I love just the demon itself is just amazing in this movie.
You become the evil that you summon. So be careful what you summon. Scott's going to summon a better back.
I need one. Definitely.
Okay? He's like, I summon the power. I'm going to summon the better alcohol. And the power to read. Probably being dyslexic doesn't help though. Like I am actually dyslexic. So it's, reading on the best of days is a struggle for me. But maybe I'll summon the power of non-dyslexia to see if that, I just have to sacrifice something else. Hopefully it's not alcohol.
No, we can't sacrifice alcohol. That would just not be fair for you.
Right? I'd be like, well, now I read good, but I can't drink anything.
And that is the true demon right there.
That is true.
The alcohol takes that's the true punishment right there, taking away your alcohol.
The power of tequila compels you. The power of tequila compels you.
Ooh, a shot for me too while I'm at it.
Right? Why not? But no, this is a great movie. This to me is like an example of a great demons movie. It's a simple plot. Like really, besides the crazy kills in it and Lance Henriksen wanted to get revenge. Like there's not much to talk about. Pumpkinhead's badass and he kills a whole bunch of people and he looks awesome doing it. And but it's a demon that comes to life in here and the the deeper meaning behind it, which is better than the next movie you're going to talk about.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to jump into that wonderful masterpiece.
Yeah, I don't have much to say, so you're going to have to talk mostly about it.
All right. So the next one is that Heather has alluded to because she loves this movie so much is Michel Suave's The Church, directed March 10th, 1989. An old Gothic...
Released.
What did I say?
Directed.
Oh, yeah. Released March 10th, 1989.
See, we're both losing it. The demons are taking over. Even on Friday night.
So I'm going to start speaking in tongues. Well, that
would make this movie make more sense. So that would be great.
All right. So the synopsis is an old Gothic cathedral built over a mass grave develops strange powers and traps a number of people inside with ghosts from a 12th century massacre who are seeking to resurrect an ancient demon from the bowels of the earth. So I have to apologize for right now. For one, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I thought there was way more demons in this than there actually are. But yeah, so that's my bad. It still fits the
Oh, there's
category.
demons. There's just not good ones.
Yeah, and I'll say most of the demons just look human for the most part, besides the final demon.
Yeah, there's a lot of possession in this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of demons taking over other people and just getting them to do things and to sound different, like aggressively making out with somebody and basically trying to date rape them or shooting themselves or kind of giving them
or killing someone with a fence, like the fence poles, or like
yeah,
killing yourself with a jackhammer, which was an awful way to die.
Right. Like there's just some really, the demons obviously are being released from inside this church. People were killed in a mass grave and they were murdered basically. So their spirits have become demons. Like this would have made more sense as a ghost film.
Yes.
Like the Fog kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not the Fog remake, just so we're clear.
Right. The original good Fog.
But like I didn't quite, this movie seemed like it wanted to be hot and like the kissing. Okay, the kissing between the two main characters, the librarian and that guy, that was the worst kissing I've ever seen.
Oh, it so was.
I thought the demon overtook him right then and there because it was like he was eating her mouth. Like it was like he had never kissed a woman before, or a person. I shouldn't say a woman, my apologies. A person before.
Well, hey, and don't judge him. Maybe he hasn't.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe he was a pretty good looking dude. I'm sure he's lip locked
with ripped
somebody too at some point. And I just don't know if the two of them had zero negative chemistry together. And I've never I've kissed people I didn't feel anything for, but I've never done it in like in front of a movie screen. So I don't know, maybe it's tougher when you're acting. Though I act pretty good. I've acted in a lot of relationships. So that's true. We all have. We all have. Every single person listening to this podcast has been with somebody and been like, you know what? I really wasn't feeling that shit, but I made it look like I was. Every single person. And we all did a better job than these two that were being paid to make out.
So true.
So yeah, I just can't really. Nothing stands out. Like in Pumpkinhead, what stands out to me is when they're in the house and they see Pumpkinhead and he comes around the corner and they like poo their pants, right? Or when he kills people and smashes their heads and shit. That stands out to me. In The Gate, it stands out to me when like the big demon gets put together from all the little demons, the construction worker piece, and in the movie theater where she changes in the bathroom to the demon, or when the buddy changes. Nothing from The Gate stands out to me. Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing that truly stands out to me, and this is why I always...
Sorry, the church. My apologies. Nothing from the church stands out for me. I'm fucking up The Gate and the church thing.
Oh, yeah. Right. But for the movie, The Church, the parts that stand out for me are very few and in between, and this is why I was like, oh yeah, there's demons in this movie, so this is the perfect topic. And it's when the biker and his girlfriend are at the church. She gets up and just kind of wanders off aimlessly, and he goes the biker goes to find her, and he walks around a corner and she's butt naked and embraced by this winged devil looking creature, which I think was the librarian, the main guy.
Yeah.
And he was just all in, like, he just looked like an evil representation of Satan, like the long bat-like wings, like horns coming out of his head, but still human-like in form. And he was just holding the woman naked, and he just kind of slides away with her. I thought that that image left an image in my head. And then also, unfortunately, it was a rape scene, but like when he actually transforms into the goat demon and like starts having sex or raping the girl from the beginning of the movie.
Yes, the girl that he was originally intimate with at the beginning.
Yes.
Only the goat kissed better. So the goat and her had more chemistry. So that was the unfortunate part of that scene. And that tells you had to bring that up for me to be like, oh yeah, the goat scene.
Yeah. Yeah, like those scenes were the only things that really stuck out to me. Like I thought there was more demon stuff in the film, and I forgot that there really wasn't in this one.
So this did play into some of it, because as we talked about in our article, demons can take different shapes and forms. So it took a form of a goat, which we've seen before. We've seen in The Witch, Black Phillip. This isn't a far-fetched topic that, demons can take hold and shape of different animals and present those animals. So I thought that was, we'll give it credit. Scott had to remind me that scene existed, but now that he's talking about it, that had to do with demons. But I was not a huge fan of this one personally.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
I didn't think it was horrible. I just thought parts of it, like, I don't know. It just seemed like it wanted to go all the way, but
it felt restrained almost in ways.
You know what I mean? And I feel like where the other ones were 1980s, with the exception of Pumpkinhead and Demons, which I do put above The Gate. I still thought The Gate was like middle of the road. Like the practical effects were so good in it. I enjoyed the whole heavy metal being played backwards, devil worshiping shit. Like I thought that was really cool. I just like this church one, I was kind of like, I think they were like, well, it's underneath a church. What more do you want? We massively killed a whole bunch of people. What more do you want? This guy woke up the fucking evil shit. What more do you want? And I just, I wanted more.
Yeah, like and well, as we know, seems like to be a thing with Italian films is there's not a lot explained. A lot of it is visual too. Yes. And I think that's just, different, kind of hard to do with different cultures. Like we're not used to
valid point. Yeah.
So I think that might be also part of it. But yeah, like this one, it could have been also, I wanted more, but also like the runtime to be cut down a little bit because it was almost an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long film. It really had no business being that long. And they could have just shortened out some other stuff and really maybe amplified the possession stuff. I do agree with you. There were some possession scenes that were great. The slow possession was entertaining. This was a much slower possession than other films. Like Demons, it was quick. The Gate, it was slower. I'm sorry,
or the Church.
The Church, it was slower, right? So I'll give it credit for that. It did take its time with doing that, and that's great. But anyway, it was a great little 80s party that you had going on here, Scotty.
Like I said, like
Demons films.
Like after I picked this, I'm going, oh damn, we could have done Deathgasm, One of the Evil Dead.
We could have done porno.
Yeah, porno. Like when you brought that up, I was like, shit, I forgot about it. Fuck, Uncle Peckerhead.
Uncle Peckerhead.
Yeah, we could have done that too.
Stop listing movies we should have done.
Yeah, like I said, I picked these really fast on a whim when we were trying to decide our topic, and then then I should have sat with it a little bit longer after I picked the topic.
That's fine. You know what though? I had never heard of the Church or the Gate, which doesn't mean anything. I'm sure they're well known by lots of other people. I just hadn't heard of them, so it was great to do them. It's always good to bring new perspectives and new movies to the fold. As much as I may tease you, they weren't No Killer Prom. Nothing.
That's true.
Or what was that other one we watched with Sorority that I chose?
The Row.
Was it The Row? Oh, that's fucking horrible too. So it's better than those. Better than those. Doesn't take much though.
Those are great though.
So we will have one more Halloween themed episode that we will be recording that will actually be released the weekend of Halloween. So we'll have to come up with a really cool topic for that. I think we have a couple ideas. Well, I have a couple ideas. I'll have to talk to Scotty about it. But for the Out of the Dark, I just wanted to, because I thought about how when Bad Candy came out recently, people compared it to it wanted to be Trick or Treat. Now there's a sequel to Trick or Treat, isn't there?
Nope. There's been one supposedly in the works forever. I don't know if it's ever going to actually come out.
So translation, there isn't one in the works.
Yeah. I think there's a script, but it's never been made.
Oh, okay. So there is a script out there, but it hasn't been made. Okay. We will be doing a top 5 Halloween films. So just to preface this, the reason why we're kind of not giving our top 5 Halloween films or talking about our favorite Halloween films is because we will be doing a Patreon special with Mike Merriman from Fresh Cuts and No More Room in Hell. And what is the other one that he does? Warriors.
Oh, Theme Warriors.
Theme Warriors. Dream Warriors. Anyway. No more. Anyway, one of these nights you'll be gone.
Great.
But we'll be doing an episode with him going over our top 5 horror movies. That's why we haven't done it in our Out of the Dark. But in the meantime, what sequels or Halloween movies do you want to see next, Scotty? Like, would you like to see a sequel to Trick or Treat? Or do you think a sequel is going to disappoint you?
I don't think a sequel to Trick or Treat would disappoint me. Though I do feel there doesn't need to be a sequel. I feel this is a good one of stand on its own type film because obviously the power of this film has created Sam and cemented him as one of the horror legends just from one freaking movie. So this says a lot right there, and you don't need to make a sequel. But if there is one, hell yeah, I will watch it, and I think it'll probably be good, especially if Michael Dougherty's behind it like he has been for the other films. But for Halloween movies that I would like to see next, don't have any other like sequels in mind, but I'm a sucker for Halloween anthologies, so more Halloween anthologies, the better.
Not a Trick or Treat sequel.
Yeah, not a Trick or Treat sequel, or like like small snippet like Tales of Halloween. I want like true anthology where it's kind of like a Creep Show, where it's like each individual story, nothing's wrapping together. Like they're individual stories. They're a bit longer, like maybe 4 to 5 stories. I don't want the like Tales of Halloween and Bad Candy were fun, but that small, I guess you would say like bite-sized versions of stories gets a little old because you can't really develop those stories very well because you don't have a lot of time for them.
Interesting.
But and also a like more just non-anthology based one that I would like to see is one where these kids that are trick-or-treating get revenge on the people that give them garbage candy or like toothbrushes or pennies or
or
the people
sugarless
that just,
suckers.
yes, or the ones that just the ones that you can tell those people don't give a crap about Halloween and they're just doing it. Yeah. Like, and they're just like giving you whatever they can find. Like, but I want to find a movie where kids are like killer kids and they're getting revenge on the people that just wrong them with their treats.
Yeah. It's interesting. I agree. I think those would be fun. I would like a Trick or Treat sequel. I personally would like one. I think that you take a risk with any sequel. Yeah. The original All Hallows Eve was very good. I thought the sequel was fine. I don't know why they moved away from having Art the Clown in the sequel, but I thought that the stories were fine.
Yeah, it was still entertaining.
And I thought Bad Candy was good. I like Tales of Halloween as well. I wouldn't mind though a sequel to Trick or Treat. I think Trick or Treat, and it's not just about Sam. Like, to be honest, the wraparound is very good in that series, in that story, in that anthology. It's excellent, but he's not my favorite character. I don't think he does enough, to be honest, to be that impactful for me.
Right. I'll say he would have to be in it though, because he is like the spirit of Halloween.
Oh yeah, I agree. He should be in it. I just don't think he's as impactful as other people find him.
That's
right.
Fair.
That's just for me. Like, it's not, whatever. And I would like a second one to help make him more impactful. It's just the same reason why I want a second Terrifier, because I think Art the Clown is an excellent modern day slasher. And yet again, everyone, Terrifier is a slasher film. Yes. It's a very simplistic film. You can like Terrifier and you can like other films as well that aren't as simple. Just wanted to put that out there. So it's the same thing. I would love to see something that kind of emphasizes him more, maybe cements him a little bit more in pop culture. I loved the movie Haunt, and I loved the movie Hellfest. And I don't think I could ever get sick. Or there's another one as well. Was it Funhouse Massacre?
Yep.
Right. That came out in 2015. I love this whole I go to a haunt and there's somebody killing people, or it ends up being real. Like, I love that shit. Like, honestly, they can make a billion fucking movies of that and I'll be like, yeah, more. Yeah, yep. More. Like,
I'll eat that up like candy.
I love them. I think Haunt is fucking phenomenal. It's so good. Like I agree. I think, and I also love the House October build. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing more found footages, but maybe a found footage of like people playing pranks on Halloween as an anthology. So maybe people doing like a haunted house or having a Halloween party out in the woods and they get taken out one by one. And then there's, a group of people that go to a haunted house, quote unquote, or an actual haunted house. So like one of those, like, oh, I'm just going to go to this creepy abandoned house, and then like one where they actually go to a haunted house and it's all filmed from a found footage perspective.
That would be cool.
Right. And they just called it, I don't know, like Halloween something. Yeah,
because Hell House did something very similar to that, where it was like the actual haunted attraction was a haunted place, but it was like, the aftermath of that.
Yeah. I would want ones that showed separate events, like people, or it could even be kids trick-or-treating and like you are an asshole to the wrong set of kids, or you're an asshole to the wrong house. Like that, I would be interested in seeing in more detail. Like, I think Bad Candy was on a really good path when they did the one short story about the apples.
Oh yeah.
Or was it the apples or like cupcakes or something, like where the guy
was apples. I think that he was putting the the razor blades and candy bars, I think.
Yeah, it was something where he was like being a real creep. I think that would be really good as a found footage, like, you know, these kids getting revenge on this dude, you know, or something like that. I think that we definitely, with Halloween, you do kind of run into a couple of themes that you're going to end up reusing over and over again.
Yeah.
Costume party, you know, maybe like a girl goes to a costume party and meets a dude and he's super creepy and tries to kill them. We saw that in Trick or Treat, where he thinks he's a vampire.
Yep.
Right? That's that fucking wraparound story with him is fucking bomb diggity. Talking about getting karma back, right?
Right.
That's so good. Anyway, like I would just like to see more of that. What I don't need more of is Michael Myers, just so we're clear.
Right.
I don't need more Michael Myers, but what I would sign up for is I would sign up for a Michael Myers versus Jason versus Freddy film. Hear me out, okay? Happens around Halloween time. Somehow Jason's body gets transported to a morgue in Haddonfield. Somehow. I don't know how we have this happen, but we do. And there's some legend of Freddy, and all three of them fucking meet up. Now, this movie will not be good, okay? None of one's going to look on this movie and be like, oh man, fucking, you know, masterpiece of horror. I just want to see the three of them fuck shit up. Like,
I love it
so badly. Because I think Michael Myers, who's such a slow, steady walker with his knife and his other shit, going against Jason would be fucking hilarious. And much like, you know, Freddy versus Jason, let's be real, isn't a great film.
No.
Like, no one goes, oh man, horror classic, Freddy versus Jason. We watched that movie to see Freddy and Jason fight. Everyone just wanted to see the fight scenes between Freddy and Jason.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't give a shit what fucking ridiculous storyline they gave to have Michael Myers and Jason and fucking Freddy in the same fucking timeline. I wouldn't care. And at the end of them, I want Chucky to pop up and there to be a sequel.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Because Chucky's wisecracking and Freddy's wisecracking.
Yes.
And I think that would be fucking awesome. Yet again, you can't take these movies seriously if they were to be created. You have to go in with very low expectations of what you're going to see is horror icons being horror icons with the budget and, you know, good enough writing that the story's entertaining. Right. No one's going to walk into that and be like, oh man, this is going to be the next fucking Midsommar. Like, let's be realistic here. This is going to be a very simple, you know,
it's gonna be a popcorn flick.
It's gonna be a wet dream of your fucking horror fantasies come to life.
Yes.
But that's what I want to see for Halloween. If we get another fucking Michael Myers movie, I want motherfucking Jason, I want motherfucking Freddy, and at the end of it, I want Chucky to show up and there to be another fucking movie. And that's what I want to see.
I would totally be down for that.
Everyone would be. You know how much money that movie would make?
Oh, so much. Not only from like us horror nerds, but then the mainstream audience that knows all those characters.
Right? It would be so popular. And the reason why I chose those four is because I think they have the most personality. As much as people might be like, oh, Leatherface or Saw or Jigsaw. Nah.
No, I could see Pinhead.
I think Pinhead's too serious.
That's what I say. Like, he could be the one, he could be the judge in hell that forces them to fight.
See, then you're getting too cheesy.
I know, but that
like, that's too far, Scott.
I love it.
Like, I don't think Pinhead should ever be put into a cheesy realm. I think the rest of them
that's why,
right?
That's why Hellraiser 3 is not that good, because it gets one-liners and gets kind of cheesy.
Right? Like, I think Pinhead is a much more serious villain. Yes. And deserves to be respected more.
That is fair.
Right? I feel like, you know, Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers and Chucky have already gone down the route of comical shit. You know, like all of those movies, there's a sequel, there's one in those franchise where you're like, this is just fucking horrible. Why the fuck am I watching this? Right? Very true. And I feel like, yes, maybe Hellraiser has for the third too, but I really don't think Pinhead is as recognizable as Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and Chucky.
He is a much more darker entity compared to the rest.
He is. And like, to be honest with you, Hellraiser was a pretty graphic film when it came out. Yeah. Like, that was a pretty gory, sexualized film, and it was toned down for the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was, if they had turned it up for what from the fucking book, it would have been basically a porn.
You're not wrong.
Right? So it's what do they call it? Horror porn? It would have been like a horror porn, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right? So anyway, I would love to see that. I don't think we need, I get it that we have Halloween Kills and I don't know whatever the fuck the one is after that.
Halloween Ends.
Fuck. I hope so. Sorry. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the Halloween films quite a bit. I enjoy them. I rewatched Halloween 2018 just recently, and it was fun. But I just think that to constantly bring back this, I would just like, let's do something fun.
Right.
Like, let's connect all these characters and make tons of fucking money and have horror fans like laugh and love and enjoy it and laugh and have
Live,
them
laugh,
with
love.
life. Oh my God. How fucking basic could I be?
I was going to say that
the Starbucks.
well, that's the tagline of the movie: live, laugh, love. Freddy, Jason, Michael.
Right? Like, it would just be, you can't have like cheesy shit like Pinhead Dredge in them. You got to just stick to some kind of like, Freddy's been forgotten about and he needs, Jason was the failure. It didn't work. So he's coming to use Michael Myers now to try to scare people. And then somehow Jason shows up.
I do have one that could get added into the mix that's not a villain.
Oh my God. Who now do you want to add?
He would not be the villain. He would be the hero of the movie.
Who?
And it would fit perfectly.
Oh my God.
Ash.
No, we're not
From
putting
Evil
Ash.
Dead.
It doesn't work.
It totally does.
It does not work. I don't know why
Jason Goes to Hell already showed that Jason is a Cenobite, or not a Cenobite, but a Deadite, because he was resurrected by the Necronomicon. So see, it works.
It does not work. Evil Dead movies, yet again, they're like Hellraiser movies. They're like in a whole separate realm on their own accord. They're taking themselves way more seriously.
Oh, not Evil Dead 2.
Okay, fair.
Or
But
Army of Darkness.
the remake,
the remake
of Evil
definitely
Dead,
did. Yeah.
like that's fucking gory.
Yeah.
Right. And like Bruce Campbell's a little old to be like, I don't even think, Robert Englund should play Freddy. Like, I don't think that should happen either. Like, I'm not one of these people that are like, oh man, Robert Englund needs to come back. I'm like, no, he doesn't. Find somebody else.
See, with Bruce Campbell, I think it'd be fun just because he'd be old man Ash.
I just think you think it would be funny because he's from Michigan and you have an obsession.
Well, I mean, that does tie into it a little bit. But I mean, like his one-liners against Freddy Krueger would be hilarious.
Yes, I think one-liners would be great, but I think you're getting too silly now. This is why we don't have something, because horror fans get too silly and they don't want to keep it basic to the ones that have already fucked up their franchise. They want to bring in ones that haven't fucked up their franchises too bad yet. And honestly, I don't think most people know Evil Dead. My friends who are like mediocre horror fans, like Amber, if I said,
that is true.
Who's Axel? She'd be like, who? If I was like, who's Chucky? She'd be like, oh, Child's Play, the doll. You know what I mean? Like, I think the average person, like that's kind of like a tier, like the average Joe knows those four.
Yeah.
And then I would say like the tier down, like or the tier up, more, who Hellraiser is, like Pinhead, who Ash is, who Jigsaw is.
That is true.
Right? You might know who Pennywise is. Like Pennywise is a little more popular now because of the It movies that came out.
Oh,
recently.
yeah.
But up to that point, I think if you said Pennywise to people, they'd be like, who?
Right. Unless you grew up in that era, watched it on TV.
Right. Like, I think that it's just that step. It's a tier higher. Jason, Michael, and Chucky and Freddy are low-hanging fruit. That's why you can buy their merch on fucking everything.
Well, I was going to say, that's why...
Look at this ridiculous Jason mug that I bought last week. It's ridiculous.
I was just going to bring up Spirit Halloween. Like, if you see them in Spirit Halloween, then then that's the ones.
Right. And you occasionally do see there is some stuff for Jigsaw. There is some stuff for Ash. There is some stuff for Sam, but it's like
not nearly as much. Yeah.
It's like one Sam costume.
Yeah.
Jason shit was like tons. Chucky stuff, tons. Freddy stuff, tons.
Yeah.
Michael Myers, tons. The theme music was playing the entire time you were in the store, right?
Same.
Like, it's just the reality that I think horror fans sometimes think people know stuff that they don't actually do. So anyway, if you want to apply something to the masses and you want to work on something that's already fucked itself anyway, with its already dumb shit that is done, stick to the people that have already, like, look how many Chucky movies there are. Child's Play.
And this coming Tuesday is the TV series that's coming out for Child's Play.
Right. Like, we just keep on, and Freddy's had a TV series. Jason didn't, because Friday the 13th series.
Friday the 13th had a series, but Jason didn't.
Jason wasn't in it. But like I think we went down a different realm there of sequels that we want to see. But I think if we're going to have Michael Myers on it, make it fucking Halloween, make it so Freddy's using Michael now to help, scare people again. And then Jason gets back in the picture and wants to fuck up Freddy. And I think that'd be great.
That would be fun. I have to admit that.
And then Chucky pops out at the end. Is like, come on, boys. And then like he leaves. And then the next movie is like, or maybe there isn't a next movie. Maybe just Chucky just pops up at the end and has some fucking one-liners. Who knows, right?
That would be great too. I would love everything about this.
Right. And then he's like, and then Ash needs to show up, and Alred Bidded.
I'll say, I mean, Ash. You did bring up the TV series. Ash did have Ash versus Evil Dead go on for 3 seasons. Just saying. Just saying.
You are so obsessed. You are such a fanboy. It is annoying. But your back's hurt, so we're gonna be nice to you about it.
I don't think you're gonna be nice about it.
I'm being very nice to you today.
I mean, you are. True.
We watched the movie
the way
together.
You could have given me.
Give you a licking.
Yeah. Keep on ticking.
Well, hopefully Scott's back feels better next weekend when you hear from us when we do the recording of the top 5. That will be released on Patreon first, and then I don't know, maybe Scott will release it on Halloween night on the regular feed that people could listen to. We will be recording another show. We haven't picked the theme for those movies yet. I have a couple ideas in mind that I'm going to sit on and then, talk to Scott about. That will be recorded on the weekend of the 23rd, and then that will be released by Halloween. So we'll have double down that weekend. We'll have a Patreon released and to regular feed, and we'll have I guess we could call it our Halloween special.
Yeah, that's true.
Because last year we did a whole bunch of fucking Halloween movies, so we're kind of running thin. So I don't know what we're going to do.
Right. See, I think that was the issue. We back then we did way too many movies for our topic.
Right.
Now we've shrunken down the list of movies we do, so it makes it so we could always revisit need be, but a little late for the Halloween ones. We could. Now we can't. People get too pissed about that. We could do Halloween 1, Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills. But we'd be giving spoilers for Halloween Kills. Oh yeah,
like a week after it came out.
Yeah, and if people knew.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure this all out. You know how we do it.
Yeah, we're very professional, very much so.
We just kind of go with the flow. We don't have any plans right now.
We don't even know. Half the time we don't know what we're doing. It's just the reality. But thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Legion Podcast Network on your favorite podcast server of choice, whether that be Spotify, iTunes, or Google Play. We don't usually ask for 5-star reviews or any reviews because we're on Kill the Cast feed, but I don't know. If you want to leave a review, go ahead. It's nice of you if you want to. You don't have to, though. I notice a lot of podcasts do that. They always ask for a 5-star review on iTunes, and we never ask.
Yep, because I've just never cared. Maybe it's because I don't ever use iTunes.
Yeah, that's true. Scott doesn't have an active iTunes account, so it would just be me reading them. So just keep listening. If you like what we do, just keep listening.
Yeah, just keep supporting the show. Leave us some messages or comments on our Facebook page, and
that's fine.
We appreciate the feedback, especially like when Xander and Dave give us our really long, detailed, and Mick as well, Mick Nordine. When you guys all give us that feedback, we love that.
We do love that. Aww, Mick and Xander. Aww.
And Dave Z.
Fluffy Dave Z and his fluffy butt.
And then we got Darren, always giving us the wonderful Photoshop.
Darren. Aww. All this love.
And Phil Ray with his sexiness.
Phil Ray, so sexy. Anyway. And if we didn't call your name out, don't worry. We still think you're sexy.
Yeah. We love you. We just don't want to be here all night.
No, we don't. Scott has to go lay down in his bed and read.
Masturbate. Wait, no what?
Yeah, right. Like you have the energy for that right now. You're like, oh, my back!
Like, ow. Oh, it's feeling good. Ow.
The fires of the smoke show are dimmed right now. There's not a lot of fire burning in those loins right now.
It's true.
Oh, poor Scotty. I hope you feel better soon, Scotty.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure I will. I'll probably still be dealing with it by the time we record next week, but it'll be a lot less.
Oh, let's hope so. We are hosting Mike Merriman, so
this is true. Bring our A game.
I may go see Halloween Kills next Saturday night.
Yep, I was gonna say I'll probably try to go see it next weekend.
Yeah, because I can't wait to see it.
Well, and we also have to talk about it because you did say you were avoiding the trailers for us to talk about it.
That's what we'll do for our next Out of the Dark. Out of the Dark's covered. Did watching the trailer not affect our enjoyment of the movie?
Boom! Look at that.
Boom.
We're already got our episode going. We're good.
We just got to work on our fucking topic. And I think we should do something fun. Maybe we just pick 2 of our favorite Halloween movies and we bring them to the table to talk about
children's Halloween, like Hocus Pocus, Ernest Scared Stupid, Monster Squad.
I don't want to watch that shit. I don't like watching children's movies as a fucking adult. I think it's a waste of time. Like if I'm watching it with my friends' kids, sure. But you want to bring those, you can.
Sure.
Oh, but then I have to watch them too.
Oh,
Okay,
we'll discuss it more. Like we'll leave this for behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes of Scott and I fighting about shitty movies that Scott's going to make me watch. But in the meantime, happy birthday, Scotty.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry your back is shitty. But here's to 40 years of you being awesome and another 40 plus years of you being more awesome.
And hopefully at the age of 85, I'll have a reason for a hurt back, but I'll still be banging.
That's right. That's right. You will be. All right. So what do you have to say to the people until our next time, which will be our Halloween special?
So until next time, kitties, please do not watch any demon movies or play any music backwards or even like go to a church that has like all these dead bodies buried underneath. Because and if you need to get revenge, do it the old fashioned way of a slasher, not summon up a demon. Because, demons are bad luck. But until next time, unpleasant dreams.
Catch you later.